You're listening to the BigIron Buzz. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of the BigIron Buzz, where each week we'll bring you the latest news and trends in the ag, real estate, and used equipment markets. This podcast is brought to you by BigIron Auctions and BigIron Realty, rural America's premier online unreserved auction site, bringing you rural connections, respected values, and real deals. I'm Drew Dolezal. I'm the host of today's show, and our guest today is Mark Stock, co-owner and co-CEO at BigIron. Mark, how are you doing today?
Oh, I tell you what, I'm doing fantastic, Drew. Thank you very much for putting this together, and look forward to seeing how the BigIron Buzz here and these podcasts take off all across the country.
Yeah, I'm excited to start this up. So today's show, we're going to talk about the Oppliger Estate. It's closing on BigIron.com on March 11th. Let's start a little bit by talking about Don Oppliger and his legacy. I have a little information here about him. He was born in Columbus, Nebraska, and looks like he moved down to Texaco, New Mexico, and then worked his way kind of back up towards the western Nebraska area. Do you know anything about his legacy, Mark, that you could share with us?
Well, I know Don was a very forward-thinking individual, very progressive person, loved feeding cattle, loved growing crops. I know years back, early 2000s, we had a very large sale for Don when he purchased a large tract of farmland in the Atkinson-O'Neill area, and with that purchase, he acquired the machinery as well, and they were doing kind of a color change. So we sold a lot of the equipment that he inherited with the purchase on an open outcry sale. So that's where we first got to know the Oppliger family way back then. Great people to work with. We've sold items off and on for Don over a number of years. So unfortunately, he passed away. And now the family is making the decision to sell all of this machinery.
I see. So machinery galore here. It looks like this sale in just Nebraska alone, I believe there's two sales, one in Nebraska and then a Texas one, but I think the Nebraska one has over 450 items alone. How would you compare the size of this auction to, say, a normal estate sale?
This is extremely large. And, most people have a couple tractors. And they've got, I think, 12 mechanical front tractors. They've got four four-wheel drive tractors. They got a couple two-wheel drive tractors. Then they've got a whole lineup of all the support equipment, the planters, the trucks, the trailers, the sprayers. So it's a very, very large sale, and this is all pretty late model items. The tractors are 2015, 2016, 2017 models. Now they do have the good old dependable 40/20 because every operation's got to have those too. But it's a lot late model equipment, and so if you're in the market to purchase something right now that is going to be selling just right before you're going to be going to the field and using it, this is going to be an excellent opportunity.
I've seen a lot of pictures and video of all the equipment lined up in the field and all ready to go. Your team at BigIron here makes it look easy, but I'm guessing it's not. Can you walk me through a little bit of the process that your ISRs go through to make an event like this happen and make it look as good as it does?
They go through a lot of work. The things that happen behind the scenes of an auction, the majority of people don't have a clue on what is involved. First thing you have to do is identify the items that are to be sold. In this particular case, Don passed away. He was living in Texas. His children weren't involved directly with the operation, so we had to rely on some of the people that were working with Don's farming operation, and then they, of course, have moved on to take some additional jobs because we're getting right into the season of start. So Tim Bohr, who is the BigIron independent sales rep that works in that space, took most of this upon himself. He surrounded himself with a lot of good folks, and then they actually moved the majority of the equipment from various locations to a nice spot right by Atkinson, Nebraska, so the public could see what's all being sold. In fact, there'll be an open house coming up here March 9th and 10th because the equipment is selling on March the 11th. But they put the equipment through all the rigorous things that need to happen to it before it's sold. They had to clean out the cabs. They had to get the power washers going. They had to take that coat of dirt and dust off the top and shine up all the windows and do all those things before they were taking the pictures and the videos. And then the pictures, when you have 70 to 100 pictures of every item, or you put 2 or 3 different videos of the machine starting and moving forward and going back and forth and getting the close-ups of the motor so that people can hear it run. That's a part of what we do, because we understand that a lot of people who are looking for this type of late model equipment may not be the next door neighbor. They may be somebody that's 3 and 4 states away. And for them to jump in a car or jump in a plane and fly on over to inspect all this stuff, it's going to be a lot easier for them to get comfortable and for them to get confident about using BigIron. We go through these tedious tasks of listing the equipment with a lot of pictures, a lot of descriptions, and a lot of videos. And most of the time we were doing open outcries since the open outcry auction since the early 80s. And in a lot of those circumstances, we start the tractors up, we let them run, during the morning of the sale, but when we got up to selling them, we never started them up. We sure never moved them forward. We never moved them back. We never even let anybody have the keys to them for the safety purposes of getting somebody hurt. And now the online auction platform allows people to watch it move and operate. Even things like shredders. You hook up a shredder and you show this lift cylinders going up and down. You engage the PTO and you show that the shafts are moving and the gearboxes are turning and the blades below are going round and round. All those things help give that buyer confidence. And of course, that's the benefit to the seller, because the benefit to the seller is they have more people looking at their equipment. And when they have that, then the results are usually a little bit more conducive for a good sale.
Looks like I've got some great items here on the block. The estate has dozens of tractors on sale, for sale, excuse me. I see a number of grain trailers and semis here, as well as some planting equipment and some harvesting equipment. Can you touch upon, some of the items that we have here in this sale?
Sure, I'd be happy to. There's 3 2015 model John Deere 8370R tractors that are going to be sold. And these tractors, they're going to have around 3,000 hours, give or take. We have all the hour information and all the specifics, whether they're power shifts or whether they're ILS or IVT transmissions with ILS front ends. We have all that information published on our website. We've also got a 2017 John Deere 8245R tractor that's selling. It's a mechanical front. These are all mechanical fronts I'm going to go through right now. They've got a 16 model 8245R. They've got a 14 model John Deere 8320. In Delhart, Texas, there's a John Deere 8245R tractor that will be sold. Now these, majority of them have duals on the rear, and you can see a lot of the pictures. The tractor in Delhart, Texas, where Brady Watson is the BigIron rep, and he is fielding questions and calls, and Kurt Campbell, who is the BigIron region manager, is there assisting with that. They're more than happy to answer any questions, but the videos say a lot of talk a lot about the tractor. There's a 8320R that's selling, that's located by Atkinson, Nebraska. That's a 14 model. If you need a tractor with a loader, there's 2 2017 John Deere 6175Ms. These have got the H380 loader on one, and one's got a W640R loader and grapple fork on the other. There's a 16 model 6145M. That's got the 640R loader and a grapple fork. And we've even got the older model, a 1993 John Deere 4960 with a John Deere 280 loader and an 8-foot bucket with a grapple fork. That's going to sell. So those are just some of those mechanical front tractors. But folks, if you need some late model 4-wheel drives, check out these big bad boys. There's a John Deere 9370R. That's a 16 model. That's located in Atkinson, Nebraska. Duals all the way around this tractor. It's got about 3,900 hours showing on that hour meter as we speak. He's got a pair of 2016 9620Rs. And these particular tractors, folks, got the big wide duals on them. One's got 1,500 hours on it, 1,507, I believe. The other particular tractor which is a 2016. It also has got these big wide tires. That's got about the same amount of hours, about 1,700 hours. So check out those tractors, all selling on the BigIron.com website. This auction concludes here, Drew, on March the 11th. And of course, they've got a bunch of other items. You know, these two-wheel drive tractors, they've got a handful of those. If you're looking for semi-trucks, folks, they got some outstanding Peterbilts. If you're looking for some 389 tandem axle or triaxle trucks, please check the Peterbilt 386s out. There's an International ProStar Premium. It's an 08 model. There's a couple day cab Freightliner Columbias. I believe they're 09 models. They're located in Dimmitt, Texas. There's a Mack CH613 tandem axle day cab that's in Dalhart, Texas. That's going to be selling. They got a couple trucks here too that need a little TLC. So they got a few of them that are selling as some parts trucks. So if you want to look for some rebuilders or has some cosmetic damage, you can help yourselves out with those as well. If you need some grain trailers, folks, 16, that's right, 16, as in 16 different grain trailers are selling. These are 2015 Tempty tri-axle grain trailers. The majority of them are. There's a couple 17 tandem axles, Tempties that are being sold. It's just a super sharp lineup of grain trailers that we encourage you to check out, selling on this estate sale for the Don Oppliger family coming up here March the 11th.
There's a lot to choose from here. This might be a little bit of a loaded question, but what do you consider some of the most impressive equipment here? Is there something that you think is just going to fly off the shelves or get quite a few bids on it?
You know, anytime you have an estate sale, you just never really know what's going to happen. But in this particular case, since Don was so well known all across the area, and he was really covering a big spread in terms of his regional reach, you know, you'll never know. He's got a late model John Deere 7980 forage harvester. He's got a late model 4045R self-propelled sprayer. He's got a 36-row 30 John Deere DB90 planter, folks, that will be selling. Those are some very unique items. He's got a lot of livestock feeding equipment, trucks with feed boxes mounted on the back. He's got a John Deere 524K high lift wheel loader. He's got drills. I mean, there's hay equipment, big balers, little balers, a lot of service equipment. He's got a couple vehicles with side booms, and they've got the service boxes mounted on the back. There literally is something for everybody's operation here selling on this particular sale. And the best thing about it is when Big Iron has an auction, everything sells with no reserve. And you don't have to worry about anybody playing games because we have a transparent site. We show bid history. We show a lot of information, and we just want the buyers bidding with confidence because the equipment will be sold to the last bidder on the Big Iron website.
Very good. Speaking of buyers bidding with confidence, we have an open house for this auction, March 9th and the 10th, 9 a.m. through 3 p.m. both days. Tell me what typically goes on at these events and what's the benefit to a potential bidder?
Well, the first thing we hope for is good weather. Because it's a lot more enjoyable to walk around and look at a whole lineup of machinery when it's nice outside. But these things will start at 9 o'clock in the morning, and we'll be there all day. We'll have our grill set up, so if you show up over the noon hour, we'll feed you. So we'll have some refreshments there. But what we want you to do is put your hands and touch some of the equipment. Some folks really like to do that when they're buying this late model equipment. So we encourage you to come into Atkinson, Nebraska. We're right there in town. There is an airport in Atkinson. There's also an airport in O'Neill. If you want to fly in to take a look at this equipment, we ask that you just give us a call because we're going to have some runners back and forth picking people up at either of those airports because Atkinson is probably 10 minutes away from both of the airports, the O'Neill Airport or the Atkinson Airport. So if you're flying in, call in advance, talk to Tim Bohr, shoot him a text message. We also have Tim Kipper, who is the region manager, and we also have several other of our personnel going to be there that'll help folks out. Todd Enke is the district manager. He's going to be around there as well to provide support. But put your hands, touch the equipment. We'll give you the keys if you want to start it up, if you want to move it around. We want you to feel confident and comfortable with the process. If you're going to be there the day of the sale and you want to bid on items, just make sure you download the BigIron Auction app on your smartphone or your mobile device. That's a very simple, easy tool to use. And as long as you got good cell reception, you can be sitting there right by the item when it's closing out and just keep pushing the button. If you are successful to get it bought, you can call your banker up after the sale's all over, which is going to be, that's a big sale, folks, so it's going to be probably 3, 4 o'clock before you could actually get it paid for, but you could have the funds wired over, and late that afternoon or the next day, you could be taking possession of that item and getting ready to use it here for the spring of 2020.
Very good. There's a lot of auction companies out there. What separates BigIron from the pack?
Well, I think the number one reason why people like using BigIron.com is it's farmer logic built. That means farmers like to do business with farmers. They want to know who they're buying from, so they really appreciate the fact that we always publish who the owner is, and we always have a phone number for them to contact, somebody to ask questions about. In this particular case, Don has passed away, and Tim Bohr is fielding most of the calls. But you go to our website and you'll see other folks that are retiring, other folks on our website who have a couple items that they want to sell. You will always find their name, you will always find their phone number, and you will always find the name of the BigIron rep as well, so you can give them a call. We're very transparent, so you can check out the bid history, and you can see that we're not hiding anything from anybody. We don't have any reserves on our sale, and we never charge anybody a buyer's fee. So actually we call that penalizing a bidder. I don't know why anybody would want to penalize somebody for bidding anything on a sale. I mean, they try to camouflage those things right now. That doesn't make any sense to us. So we don't believe in playing those games. And the equipment is always posted with 3 weeks marketing period, and people like that. And the farmer logic, going back to farmer logic, the farmer likes to shake the hand if they're doing a retirement sale, or if the family member is around. They like to shake the hand of the person that bought it. They like to pass the torch, so to speak. They like to talk about the item themselves. They're proud about what they are. Farmers are proud about what they have and what they've used in their operation. They like to tell you what's good and bad about it. And that's why I think people like using and choosing BigIron. We have our auctions every Wednesday. It's just like clockwork. And we're thankful that people who listen to this, if they've never been to our site, check it out. If you have any questions, we've got a fantastic customer support team. They can walk you through the registration process. They'll talk you through how to pay for the items. We've even got access to help with logistics companies to give you quotes. If you're interested in finding out what is it going to cost to get this item shipped or freighted to your location. So we have all those tools in play to help the buying experience to be more enjoyable, more comfortable, more confident. That's why a lot of people come to these farm shows too and say they like using BigIron.com.
That's great, Mark. Right now I have Tim Bohr on the line. He is the ISR in charge of the Oppliger Estate. Tim, how are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Tim, I just got some questions here for you about the Oppliger Estate. The Oppliger Estate sale includes over, 600 items total for the BigIron sale, but over 450 in Nebraska alone. Tell me a little bit about some of the great items here we have on the block. Maybe start with tillage equipment, some of the haying equipment.
Well, tillage equipment, there's a couple real neat items. You've got a 24-row Orthman one-tripper on there that Don had built special for himself. It's on a tracked bar, and real neat item. They used that on their farm. They actually had 2 of those. Tillage, there was some Landau Verti-Tills on their 50-footers. There's a mulch finisher on there as well, a Landau. John Deere disc, 48-foot disc. And as far as the hand equipment goes, there's 2 self-propelled windrowers on there, disc mowers, John Deere balers, Rouse rake. So he had a well-rounded line of equipment there, late model John Deere equipment, John Deere sprayer. So just a little something for everyone.
Oh, very good. Can you maybe walk me through some of the tractors available? And I see there's a number of grain trailers and semis up there too. Can you maybe tell us about some of those items?
Well, there's 12 grain trailers. 7 of them are tandem axles. 5 of them are triple axle trailers, all Tempties, late model. Most of them are 2017s, a couple 2015s. Two Polar stainless steel liquid tankers. There's a Wilson converter hopper on there as well. Semi trucks. There's 4 Peterbilt trucks on there. So 2 379s and 2 386s, cat engines. As far as the late model tractors, 3 front end assist with loaders, smaller tractors, 2 big 4-wheel drive tractors, some 8320Rs. So payloaders, a couple of 524K high lifts on there, another 544H. So like I said before, finished it with before, a lot of items there that late model, low hour, look good, well cared for, just a really exciting offering.
Is there one piece of equipment or a couple pieces of equipment that you would consider the most impressive that's sitting out there?
Oh boy, I don't know if I could narrow it down to one. There's quite a few pieces that are impressive. There again, the late model Deere equipment, there's just about something there for everyone. What I think is really neat is that Orthman 1 tripper. That there's only been 2 of those made, and they were both for Don Oppliger. And just, if anybody's looking for a strip till unit, I would sure encourage them to take a look at that. Real neat item.
Well, very good. And then, Tim, last question I have here for you. I know the auction is in Atkinson, but whereabouts in Atkinson? Where can folks find it if they're coming out to take a look?
Well, we're going to be having an open house Monday and Tuesday prior to that. It's all been moved to a lot, and if anyone is familiar with the Atkinson, Nebraska area, and it's not a real big town, so it won't be hard to find, on the east side of town, sale barn, and all the equipment is located in right east of the yards, the sale barn yards, right along Highway 20. Nice big Don Oppliger Estate signs in there. Can't miss it, and that's where we'll be at.
All right, very good, Tim. Thank you very much, and I thank you for being on our show today. I know the auction will go very well for you, so I look forward to watching it.
I'm looking forward to it too, and thank you for having me.
All righty, folks, that's our show for today. I'd like to thank our guests, Mark Stock and Tim Bohr, and remind everyone that all the equipment you heard about today can be found on BigIron.com. For the Big Iron Buzz, I'm Drew Dolezal. We'll catch you next week.